Bloemfontein for the latest. Aphumelele, let's start with what the situation is at the moment. We know there's a lot of anxiety around what the president is going to announce, but what is the mood in the Free State?
So one would say the mood on the ground, we can hear people are starting to panic given the fact that the numbers, the confirmed numbers today have increased drastically, and also in the province from 9 moving to 13 cases that have been confirmed since today. And knowing the fact that there's still tracing that is being conducted, that is taking place, knowing that there's been 5 cases from international people who came in Bloemfontein at a church gathering that took place for 2 days, and we understand that there's still more than 600 people that are being traced regarding that. It's the congregants, which is worshippers, and also the people that might have been in contact with those people that were at the congregation there. But on the ground, I can just tell you, so that the mood here is somber. People are starting to panic and wishing that the president at least could strengthen the measures that are already in place. Where I am at is usually the busiest side of downtown, or rather CBD of Bloemfontein, where people are going now to their taxis, to the buses, knowing that they're going to their respective places, which include Botshabelo and Tabanchu, which is the large population that usually come to Bloemfontein for work. They use public transport. They are dependent on public transport. And with the issue of social distancing, we could understand from them the panic now that in the buses that they are using, some do not even have this sanitizer, and now others, it becomes too opaque in the bus, and which that also is giving them panic. But I'll just talk to just one of them here. Sisi, the president is speaking tonight. We know that there's panic on the ground. What would you want him to talk about?
Nanga thabelela presidente rona batho ba theogelang ha o ka kgathela re tlogela go theogela mara re batla security sa chelete wa utlwa because re palama di taxi ko di bankeng ba itse re swipe re sa ga rekisa cash ha ke khone go swipe ka taxi ene mo godimo ga mo batho ba bushiri ba ileng kerekeng go pa le itlhagiseng le lena because re tshugile because se se diragetse mo Free State, meaning maybe neighbor ya ka o na ile go kerekeng or mang kapa mang re kopana le batho ba on a daily basis, but we're not even aware gore motho o na le exposure or hana exposure. So I mean re batlela security sa re itse for lanka ga dula go gae, everything else is taken care of. Taba tsa bo di debit order bo di loan, I mean ra panika re amogela commission ha ke dula go gae no yana ke tlo go phela yang. So ha re monate sheba ela tla re la o bona social distancing is not working. Ha re na next ke hand sanitizer yeo tshwantse re create goggles re create mask ha re di ne o dilo tse go re berekang teng. So we don't know gore na re tshwantse re dire eng ke nnete president o tla bua, but if it's not implemented on the ground, it's almost like it's just leaving us in panic.
Tsepiso is basically saying that more needs to be done to make sure that these regulations are being strengthened. She's explaining that the issue of social distance is not working, as she's also saying where she is working, there are no precautionary measures of gloves, sanitizers, no masks. Now she is saying she supports the call by the people on the ground that there should be an entire lockdown to address the issue of COVID-19. I'm just going to bring one more here. And let's talk about the issue that is currently happening. We know that we have been hit by this pandemic. What's your view on this?
Yeah, even especially me, I'm self-employment. I'm working on the roadside, and there's no sanitizer, all the protection materials we're supposed to get it to protect ourselves. We don't have it. So before they're gonna shut down all these things, they must provide all these necessary protection materials so that everybody will get it to protect itself, so that before they continue on what they're supposed to do.
Well, so that's some of the views from people on the ground. We will continue to just change spot in the city of Bloemfontein to go to another place where we will just talk to the people on the ground and understand what what exactly do they want the president to address about tonight?
Aphumelele, just before we go, we must ask this. Any official word yet from the Department of Health, especially about the up to 600 congregants that they said they'd have to trace and test? Have all of those been tested? What is the situation with those 5 tourists who were found to have tested positive?
Unfortunately, SABC, the information that we still have is that yesterday the tracing was continuing where the screening was being conducted at the Divine Ministry Church here in Bloemfontein. We still know that they're still looking for all the congregants that were part of the conference. But unfortunately today it's been a lockout meeting where it was only Department of Health and also the executive of the Free State. Unfortunately, we don't have the latest updates now, even though we know that screening continues where people are being identified. They're coming in front just to make sure that they get tested. And from the MEC for Health, we did hear from him that so far it's 9 people from all those that have been tested from the congregation that have showed the signs, or rather the symptoms of COVID-19.
All right, thank you very much, Aphumelele Mdlalane.